What's up, guys? The red light is on. Dave Van Auken, the Dave Van Auken Show, presented by Fight Bananas. And also, top left corner, the law offices of Daniel Martinez. Make sure he has your back. He has my back. Absolute stud. Really helps a lot of people in the MMA community. So definitely give him a follow, the Fight Lawyer on IG. So, all right, here we go. We're starting up the show, talking with absolutely one of our favorites. We've probably been talking for multiple years. She's been in the studio. She's had pancakes in the studio. Always love talking to her. A lot of stuff, a lot of transitions, from gym to gym. She's on that comeback trail. Cannot wait to watch her fight Saturday night for Combat in Duval. My dear friend, Megan Cawley.
Hello.
What's up, Meg?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming back on. I think we've done this a couple of times.
Yeah, a few times. I'm kind of used to it.
A few times. Awesome. So, I guess that's kind of start there. And then I want to talk about life, talk about some cool stuff, some gym stuff, pancakes let's get involved. Big fight. It's fight week, Saturday. How are you doing? I know how much you're on this comeback trail, which is awesome. I love it. And it's like, you're just going, how good it feel to get your first one under your belt? How excited are you for Saturday night?
It felt really good getting the first one under my belt, but I am excited for Saturday night. I've just got some goals, and Saturday night is one where I'm gonna accomplish a big goal of mine, and that's just to get a 500 record, to be 2-2, and get back on the winning track. So on Saturday, it's the start of getting back in the win column.
I love it. And it's kind of funny because my dear friend, John Radford, Port Orange, Florida, one of my best guys in the world, love him. And he had his first professional boxing match 2 months ago, and it was in Orlando. And he's like, Dave, I want to do it once. He might be a little bit older than us. And I know you're super young to me, but he might be a tad older than myself. And he's like, Dave, I want to do it. I want to get one pro fight. And it was awesome. It was magical in a way. He had his family around him and so many people around him, and he had a great win. And, a lot of it was, captured on video. He's like, I'm good. I got my one. And now he's actually going to do it again in Daytona coming up the weekend after you. And my point is, where I'm getting it is everything went so perfect for him on that night. And it seemed your last fight, from afar, everything went so perfect for you, to get a first round finish, to get a nasty finish, to get it done quick, to you come out of the cage feeling fine. How hard is it, or is it mentally or physically exhausting on you to try to duplicate that? Or it's like, nah, Dave, I can't fucking do it. Every fight's different. If I have to go 15 minutes, I go 15 minutes. Or if I get the finish, I get the finish. How much are you thinking of your last performance?
I really don't think much about it.
Okay.
I went in there, I did what I did. I had an awesome performance, and that's great. But I just still have the same mindset that I had going into that last fight. I'm just thinking this is the toughest fight of my life. And, I'm expecting to go all 3 rounds, but if I finish it earlier, then heck yeah. And that's just always my mentality, just go in there expecting the worst, but hope for the best. So yeah, I kind of just don't let that influence me much. And I just want to go out there and put on the best performance possible. So my goal is still what my goal was for my last fight. And that's just to get performance of the night.
Nice. And how much, is it a team thing? How much have you looked into Whitney? It's so, everyone says I feel it's one or the other. Everyone's like, no, I watch so much. I see in every YouTube, I'm on her IG stories, I'm all into it because I want to know what she's doing. I want to know how she looks and how she feels and whatever. And then a lot of fighters go, no, I've never watched my opponent. I don't care. I'm worried about me. Is it anywhere in the middle for you? Or is it, hey, I'm letting Jillian do that. I'm letting my team do it. And I'm worried about Megan Cawley?
It's a little bit of both. I kind of watched her fights at the beginning of camp when the name was thrown out to me, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I watched a little bit, but then I kind of get consumed and I tend to watch too much or overthink things. So I kind of let my coaches and my teammates just take over that, and they can just be like, hey, this is our game plan. This is what we're going to do. We watched her. I try not to focus too much on my opponents. I used to do that a lot in the past, where I used to watch their Instagrams and watch all their fights and consume myself with them. But I just felt like it didn't do anything positive for me. So now I just leave that to my coaches. I watch in the beginning, but that's about it. I have complete and total trust in my coaches. So I let them handle that. And then I just go out there and do my thing.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Talking about coaches, Julian Williams, definitely, with Ari Melendez kind of transition into the Fusion. How is it? Like, tell me, a pro or a con, or just like how great it is. Seems like you guys have such a great bond right now. Seems like there's this really magic going on at Fusion with Hannah and Kat and yourself and Marina and now Ari and Jada. And it just seems like you guys have this something special going on. How important is it to have that magic around you? And how did in real life, like how did it all come to be? Like, hey guys, we're all gonna do this at Fusion.
uh, it's been awesome. I agree. I think that we have something special going on. Hashtag Fusion Hunnies.
Yeah.
Mikey came up with that. It's awesome. But yeah, I think we have something great going on. We've got a squad of killers. Like we're just all finishers, and we really elevate each other and we help each other. And my teammates or the girls doing well, it motivates me. Oh yeah, the hashtag.
Is it a you or no?
uh no, that's it. Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah, nailed it. There you go.
Yeah, you killed it. So yeah, I feel like we feed off of each other, and Kat and Hannah just got a finish, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, I want to get a finish too. So we can like all just have finishes in a short amount of time. But I do think that we have something incredible going on, and we have great chemistry, and we're always down to help each other, and it's been really great. And it wasn't planned like, hey, we're all going to train at Fusion. It's just I feel like we have a powerful girl squad, and once you start seeing the girl squad forming, girls are like, hey, I want to come too, and we're like, come on, come
Right.
join.
Right.
So yeah.
How freaking good is Kat Nelson? Like
Oh my
how
god.
like it's so funny. Same thing. Like I've been talking to her for a little bit, and she's on that borderline of like seems like everyone's trying to rush her to become a pro, and it's like every time it's like, hey, there's no rush. She's still super young, and but she's just going through these amateur fights like it's nothing. Like she's just dominating, which is great. It's awesome, but like you do want to kind of like you want to be able to swim in the deep end a little bit, like because you don't want to fight 1 or 2-0 or your second fight and you got like a really hard sick fight or a grappler or someone that's going to negate her what she's great at. But she's just so freaking good. Like Kat Nelson's a damn problem.
Oh yeah, she's an issue for a lot of these amateur girls. I know that, yeah, talks have been going around to like, is she going to be pro? Is she going to be amateur? Like, I think that Kat will do phenomenal wherever she's at, whether she's a pro or she's an amateur. I mean, I always give amateurs like my 2 cents, and I'm just like, stay amateur for a long time and get all those tough fights out of the way. But I believe in Kat, and I think that wherever she's at in amateurs, she's just going to keep making waves. And as a pro, she's going to do the same thing. So she's one of those people that I'm like never worried about. I'm like, she's going to be fine wherever she's at. Like she's a
Right.
killer.
Right. Definitely, guys, everyone give Megan Cawley a follow on Instagram. And talking about that, so from afar, I see like, seems like you take breaks off of social media. Like you almost have to like, because there's so much, right? Like it's so much things are happening and so much information is being processed. And sometimes like, I even notice that it's like, I put the kids to bed and it's like, I have, an hour or two and I want to watch our favorite show or we got to do laundry. And all of a sudden I'm on Instagram and it's like, whoa, 35 minutes just happened. And it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. And I feel like, it's like, damn, I just wasted 35 minutes of valuable time. But I know it's important, especially for what I do on the media side. So like,
Yeah.
I know I see you sometimes, like you attack it, you're doing great stuff on social media. Then we won't see you for 2-3 days. Is that like very planned or is it like, no, like I got to get off of it?
Uh, yeah, it's up and down with me. Sometimes I just get like too overwhelmed. And so I'm like, okay, I need a break. Or like you said, I spend too much time like on Instagram or on TikTok. I love TikTok. Um, so I might spend a lot of time like on those apps and just being like, oh man, like other things are slipping through the cracks. Like I have a business, so I need to be working, and sometimes it's really easy for me to get sidetracked on social media or let my chores go undone. Like my apartment will be a wreck, and I'll be like, I can't live like this. So, or sometimes it's just too overwhelming. Or, I mean, I have to be honest, sometimes I'm not in the best place mentally, and I just want to detach because that's what helps me. Sometimes social media could just be overwhelming. Just seeing people doing well all the time and like all this stuff. I'm like, man, people don't have a bad day, but I'm like, social media isn't real. And so
Yeah,
I definitely try and detach. And I think I do a great job at detaching from it. Like, it might not be good for like sponsors and stuff. They might not like it that much, but I know that for my mental health and my sanity, like, I need to disconnect sometimes.
for sure. And there's nothing more important than how you feel, physically or mentally. And the mentally side's been a lot talked about, which is great over, I feel like, the last 3 months, 6 months, years. I feel like it's definitely picking up positive steam. And yeah, like, like our daughters are awesome and they're beautiful. And we put a picture on Instagram, but right before that, they were literally yelling and crying and running on the wall. And we just captured the picture that she looked beautiful on. So that's the one we share for our family and friends to see. But it's like, social media, it's like, it's so tough. It's like, and like you said, it can be like, it really can consume you time wise or energy wise. It's wild. It is. It's a tough game, but follow Megan Cawley on Instagram, folks.
Yeah, I post. I do post
There you go.
regularly, but I'm pretty in tune with myself and I know what I need. So
Yeah, yeah. And like it's kind of like sometimes it is like a necessary evil, because when you have a fight Saturday, you want people to know you have a fight or see you at weigh-ins or buy tickets or whatever the case may be. Like you want, because to be a professional fighter, like you're out there, like people are going to see you. Like people need to buy the pay-per-view link to go see Megan Cawley fight.
for sure. For sure. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to post this week. It's just, especially this week, I'm like, oh, I don't want to
Yeah,
do social media.
I know. I know. It is wild. It's fight week. Megan Cawley. All right, yeah. Tell me, you mentioned your business. Talk about real quick your business. How's Pancakes doing? How's everything in your personal life or love life? How's everything going with Megan Cawley?
Things are going well. I'm in a really great place and I'm pretty happy. Business has been going well. I have an online thrift store. It's called Rebel Exchange, if anybody wants to check it out. But I've actually kind of paused for fight camp. I kind of go through these waves where, like in camp, I just don't focus as much on work. I just kind of focus on fighting. But yeah, business has been going great. Pancakes is a gem. She was actually the flower girl in one of my best friend's weddings like 2 weeks ago or last week or something like that.
Over there in Gatlinburg, right?
We were actually in Jefferson in North
Okay.
Carolina. Yeah, so it
Okay.
was up in the mountains. It was amazing. And she was the
Yeah.
flower girl and she was so well behaved. I actually had to kick her out of the room because she's been an absolute menace this morning. She
Yeah.
wants to play nonstop. Um, so yeah, things are doing great. My personal life's great. I'm happy, happy at home. I'm very happy at my gym. I'm very happy to be fighting again so soon. It's exactly like 5 months in between. So I just feel like things are going really well.
That's good. Like it's such an underrated thing that people don't really, put out there or really think about. It's like, if everything is good in your personal life and, so many different levels, could be family, could be a significant other, could be, business or dogs or money or whatever. There's just real shit. It's real life. Like the fight thing kind of goes in a more positive light when like shit sucks on the side. Like when you're having a bad car ride to the gym, usually the gym won't be good. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those underrated things I don't think people talk about.
I agree, and I think that, I don't think, I know that my first, 2 professional fights, I wasn't necessarily in the best place, and it definitely affected my performance. Like, my first fight, I just felt like I couldn't pull the trigger, and that was just because I was struggling within myself and, like, within my personal life and things like that. So, I just feel like being in a clear space, and I really make it a point to try to be in a good place and
Right.
try to take care of my mental health and try to, I only focus on the things that I can control now. Before I used to try to focus on everything. And now I'm
Right.
like, I can only focus on what Megan Cawley can do. Everything else is out of my hands. So yeah, just being in a great place is, yeah, people don't talk about it enough. Like you being in a positive place mentally really, really affects the way that you fight. And I feel like if you're in a positive place, things tend to go a little bit better.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. That's everything. I think that's teachers, podcasters, fighters, like everything else matters so much. So you mentioned the 5 months thing. We'll kind of end it on this. I know it's fight week. Is 5 months like a perfect time for you? Because a lot of times I always hear fighters love to do 3 in a year. Like that's kind of like a goal, like to try to get 3 fights in 1 year. But are you perfect with no, Dave? Let me just get one every 5 months in that range, 4 to 6 months, and just keep on winning. Just keep on this comeback trail.
I think I'd be happy if it was a little closer. I was actually
Okay.
trying to push. I was trying to get on another card. I forgot what the last pro card was, but I was trying to get on it. But I am happy with 5 months. You know, anything's better than having a year in between fights. Like I've gone, I think, between my last fight and my second fight and my third fight, my last Hannah fight, it was like 2 years or something like that, or a year and a half. It was like 500 days, you told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's too much for me. I mean, ideally, I would like to get like 3 a year, but right now, it's 2 a year, and I'm happy with that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy fighting in June and November because it still keeps me on track. So as long as I'm meeting my goals and being able to get where I want to get, I'm happy. So 5 months, I can't complain. Things were super weird in 2020, so just the
It
fact that I'm
was.
getting 2 this year, I'm like
Yeah.
extremely grateful for. I'm like happy it happened, thankful for everybody that made it happen. Like it's just getting me to where I want to be.
Right, right. And like with and I'll close on this kind of and we mentioned the 500. I remember talking about it in the last podcast. It was like 537 days since your last fight. But in a weird way, can you almost like look back on it now and be like, dude, that was maybe too long and it did suck. But like in a weird way, it's like, dude, Megan Cawley at that Megan Cawley 537 days ago to the Megan Cawley who fought was a different monster in a good way, the best monster way possible. It's like
Yeah.
I'm a different person, like inside that cage, like all the training you did and all that time at Fusion and transition and all that stuff, and just kind of like seemed like you were ready that night, like seeing different stuff on social media and seeing like you were gonna fucking win that night. Like it did not matter. Like Rose Namajunas could have been on the opposite side of that cage that night in Orlando. You were getting the job done. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like the 500 and something days was a necessary evil. I feel like, you know, I obviously have wanted to get back in there sooner and fight, but I think that it was a blessing in that it gave me a lot of time to develop. It gave me time to like find confidence in myself and like find a new team that I felt like at home with because that transition wasn't necessarily like the easiest.
Right.
And yeah, it just took me time to feel like comfortable in my skin and be able to have that performance. Like I don't know if I would have the same performance that I did my last fight if I didn't take that amount of time off. So it was against my will. Like obviously I wanted to get my 2 losses back like ASAP, but yeah, I really think that it helped me grow and evolve as a fighter. And I'm really happy for where I'm at now. And I don't think it would have happened without that break.
There you go. Megan Cawley is back Saturday night, Combat Night Duval. Soon to be 2-2 professional, and then it gets the wins on top of it. Megan, you know how much we admired you. We love you here at Fight Bananas, and we're so pumped. We can't wait to see you fight Saturday night. Send me that pay-per-view link. If you have like a link on yourself, we'll attach it to the podcast. We'll get this out, and happy fight week to you, and be good. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having me and constantly supporting me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Meg. We'll talk to you soon.